The Sarah Jane Adventures was 10 years old yesterday. Hang on. This video sounds familiar.
Today, January the 1st, 2017, marks the 10th anniversary of the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, because I said that was the 10th anniversary. Let me sort this out. So, basically, the Sarah Jane Adventures celebrated its 10th anniversary since the pilot in January. The pilot being Invasion of the Bane. Now, what we saw yesterday was the anniversary since Clyde Langer was introduced. We met the Slitheen, Bebby Slitheen, little Slitheen, Bebby, and Luke started school. So what I'm basically trying to say is, it's not my fault. Sarah Jane Adventures turned 10, great. What am I going to review? Not the first ever episode, no, that would be too easy. What I'm going to do is review Series 2, because I've literally just finished watching it on Saturday. Do you remember the Poison Sky? Do you remember when all the Sontarans blew up? Do you want to see a story about a Sontaran that didn't blow up? Great. The last Sontaran serves a bit of a continuation of that classic Tennant story. We see a Sontaran looking for vengeance, so goes to Earth with two orb things that are never really explained that well. Yeah. Also, there's a telescope that's going to program all of the satellites in the sky to fall, crash into the Earth, and destroy the Earth. Basically, half forms will sum up the episode for you. Ding! The Day of the Clown. I hate this episode. It's got clowns in. It's like It without all the gore and that stuff. Yeah. What they managed to do with Day of the Clown is, in actual fact, make children more scared of clowns. They didn't make them laugh at clowns, they made them more scary. On a side note, David Bradley...
Past Jevon is an idiot, he means Bradley Walsh, I'm sorry.
Or he plays a pretty fine performance as Odd Bob. And the circus man, and then the piper. Can't remember what the circus man's called. Yeah, this is a pretty good episode. We get introduced to Rani, who's so determined to be part of something, sort of like some sort of plot development. Interesting. Secrets of the Stars. He does that thing a lot. It's really annoying to watch. Yeah, this is an odd episode. It's very clever. I was thinking this as I was watching. It's a very clever episode in the way that it works. Nobody's ever done anything about the star signs and how this could all be real, some ancient form of, I don't know, power. About how the ancient lights will destroy you. There's not a lot you can say about this episode. It's clever. It works well. Has good action, some poor acting, some good acting. Nice twist. Yeah, I like Secrets of the Stars. Mark of the Berserker is... I don't know, I always remember quite liking this episode. Obviously, Clyde's dad is back. We don't know why, really, he's back, but he just sort of is. So yeah, there's that. He came back and stole something and capitalised on it, which just proves that his dad's not a very good person, but they sort of forget that by the end of the episode. Otherwise, the B-plot of this is Sarah Jane's away looking for slugs in a hospital or something like that. And then Luke and Rani are left to find things. So the things that they're trying to find is this amulet. Obviously, Clyde's dad has stolen the amulet and is now persuading everybody to do whatever he says, which he's obviously loving this power. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't love this power? But I thought it did a very good job of showing how this power could go wrong very quickly. When Rani tells her dad, "You make me die," or I can't remember the wording exactly, and he just turns around, "You want me to die?" That's quite a sinister part of the episode. I feel that it really does show off how this plot can be very, I don't know, very sinister sometimes for a children's show. You have to remember it is on the same brainwave as Russell T Davies, so keep that in mind. Temptation of Sarah Jane Smith. The Temptation of Sarah Jane Smith, I should say. I'm not keen on this episode. I feel that the Trickster is underused. The Trickster's such a good character, and he's so very underused. I really do wish the Trickster had been in other Doctor Who stories, like actual Doctor Who. Tennant talks in the next series about him fighting the Tricksters at some point. I would love to hear a big finish of this. I feel it could have gone into a classic Doctor's New Monsters thing, but you're not here for audio. Yeah, I think this is probably the weakest episode of the series, just because it's got quite the flimsy plot and the special effects aren't that special. We film a lot of it on a quarry, you know, getting back to those old Doctor Who roots. And the Graska in it. So that's a thing. So, lastly, in this series, we have Enemy of the Bane. This serves as a follow-up to both Invasion of the Bane and The Last Sontaran, as both Mrs. Wormwood and Karg are in this episode. I quite like this episode. I think it's full of nostalgia, especially as the Brigadier returns for his final performance, good old Nicholas Courtney. Yeah, that was the first time round. This time around, I think the Bane are great creatures. They sort of remind me of bits of chicken with noodles underneath. The Bane, in a nutshell. Yeah, so I like the Bane. I think the way that they sort of glitch into their monster form is quite cool. Mrs. Wormwood used her thing on her ring. That's not, I don't know what that is. To control everyone basically, but it felt so very much like the episode was always going to end with Karg wrestling Mrs. Wormwood into something, a big hole, which is a shame. Possibly because I remember it from childhood. But yes, I do find it hilarious how the scroll of Horath has its own instrumental piece whenever anybody says its name. Or, in fact, anytime it appears on screen, it's like... It's like the Dark Tower in The Five Doctors, in the way that it used to go... Oh, it must have been, I can't remember how it goes. So that sort of brings us to the end of Series 2. It's a decent series. A companion of Sarah Jane leaves. We gain a new companion. Yeah, it's an alright series. And looking forward to seeing Series 3 again. So happy birthday, Sarah Jane, officially, for your actual series, not just the pilot. I watched Sarah Jane all the way through from start to end, CBBC. In fact, even after some of the episodes I was watching on Saturday, in my head I could hear that old CBBC, the bim 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 bim. See you next time for, I don't know, something audio, probably. Bye.